You know, I was actually um, deleting some videos right now from my gallery, from my camera roll. And I don't know, but I wanted to make a video today. I have to. Um, because today I finally am done with school. Not that I'm done with school as in, oh, I dropped out because I'm so tired of it. I am tired of it. I was tired of it. I was always tired of it. But I never dropped out. The thing is that classes are over. I no longer have high school classes anymore. Academic classes, like required ones. I could just go about my life and do basically anything I want, like including illegal stuff. That's what I mean. And I have no obligation to be anywhere anymore. Or maybe that's a rough way to put it. I don't know. Roughly speaking, because of course some rules still apply. But it's pretty crazy to think that now I'm rid of it. Now I'm like that's gone. I was looking through my gallery. That at least that's how it's called in Spanish, and I have a lot of videos, a lot of pictures too, of lots of moments lots of good moments that I had in school and elsewhere. I was putting many of those good experiences in my favorites list, and yeah, I just wanted to say that it would be really, really irresponsible, and most of all, weak and dick of me to say that time has flown by. Like this was just like a breath or a blink. Like, come on. No. It wasn't fast. It wasn't short. It wasn't a brief amount of time. It was a long time. It was 17 fucking years. That is not a short time. That is my whole life. That is 100% of what I've lived in this universe. And to say that has passed, and as if nothing important happened while in that moment, would be wrong, you know? So I shouldn't say that time just passed by like super quickly. And I think people often feel like time passes by super quickly for two reasons. And I often have this urge or this need or this want to basically become that I want to become like the top priority, like the top most research person. I mean, like the person that has done the most research on the topic, for me to be able to speak about these things. So for me to be able to give a complete, let's say, assessment of the matter, right? I would like to know what I'm talking about more than anything else. But this is gonna be like through experience. Like this is just what I know, and I'm gonna say what I want to say. And sorry for too many pretexts. Um, the two reasons are, I think, from my experience and from my ignorance, are you doing every single day the same thing every day, and you not taking some time to look around. When you do when you do the same thing every day, you forget about these things because it is the same memory, right? Let's say, for example, brushing your teeth. You brush your teeth the same way every single day, and it's not wrong. Nothing wrong with that. What's wrong is when you do everything the same, like every single day. That then it becomes not a problem, but sad. You're not going to remember how you brushed your teeth 2 years, 3 months, and 2 days ago. Like you're not gonna remember that. Absolutely not. But if 2 years, 3 months, and 2 days ago you did your first backflip, or I don't know, overcame a fear, or met a new person, or went to an event that you had never got to in your life. You're never going to forget that day. You're never going to forget that exact same thing, that memory. I think there's a quote that goes along the lines of, if you do the same thing you've done like forever in your whole life, if you do everything the same as you've always done it today, you will never remember this day for the rest of your life. If you do the exact same thing, you will never, ever remember this day ever again. If you have the most average day ever, let's say you just go to school and you just return home to scroll on TikTok, and trust me, you're not gonna remember the videos you see, even if you save them. You're not gonna remember the TikToks you see. You can do this exercise actually. Put an alarm in your phone. This is a way that it just occurred to me in which you can do it. Go scrolling on TikTok or Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts. Go scrolling. Let's say fucking like 20 videos. Just put like a 1 minute timer. That's it. It's okay. That is enough. And then, when you hear the sound of that alarm, don't do anything. Like, restrain yourself. Don't touch your phone. Like, leave it on the table. Or turn it off even. And try to remember, even not the last 15, not the last 10, but the last 5 videos you saw, what they were about. And you might realize that you won't be able to recall that. And maybe you might be able to because of the challenge that you're putting upon yourself, that you are like always like trying to retain as like the videos that you're seeing. But generally, if it was just any other normal day, if you were scrolling and then there's a video pops up that asks you like, what are the last 5 reels or 5 YouTube Shorts or 5 TikToks about, you won't be able to recall that. And trust me, there are channels or accounts, better said, of people dedicating their videos to, hey, get off of Instagram, get off of TikTok, like go do something with your life, you know? Like, what are you doing, man? There's a lot of accounts dedicated to that, and some of them have done videos. I mean, very few, but I've seen like once or twice in my life that video that tells you like, what were the last 5 reels about or the last 5 TikToks about? Don't scroll up. What were they about? And you cannot know that. You don't recall it. You will not remember like the last videos that you see. You will not remember the videos that you see because they're not experiences that you're living. And because you're being bombarded with many other videos just at the same rate, with the same length and with the same impact. So you will not be able to remember like 1 out of 1,000 videos. You will not be able to remember 1,000 videos that you saw in a certain day fucking a year ago. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Unless you fucking write it down or something. Then you will be doing something different, you know? But no, you will forget that. So watching content and binge watching content, especially short form, is something that amounts to nothing. Because you will not remember that for the rest of your life. It's not going to become an impact to you. Unless you have, like, let's say, an FYP, like a For You page, dedicated to motivational messages or educational things. Like, how to start your business, or how to do your taxes better, or how to... 5 pieces of advice given by this certain historical figure, or this quote that could transform your life. Like, then, yeah, fair enough. That video, you might remember it for the rest of your life. If you do apply it to your life, of course, you might remember it, yes. But it's not the video that you're remembering. It is the change that happened to you that day. Because that was not just a video. That was a new beginning. That's why you remember it. That's why there's very few videos that you remember. I still remember a post that I saw when I was 14 that said, something like disappear for a certain amount of time, or challenge or something. But there was like a picture of Cristiano Ronaldo in the background, and the video said, or the reel, sorry, it was like an Instagram post. I think it was from Fact Mafia or something. They removed it, and they said in the post, like, we're gonna remove this post, so save it or something, or take a screenshot of it. I didn't, but I saw it when I was 14. I was scrolling in my computer, And I know that I'm making the part of you won't remember videos too long, but I'm just stay with me, please. I was 14. I was in my dad's, in the wooden house that was from my grandparents then, and my aunt and my cousin lived there in the first floor, and my dad and I lived in the second floor of this wooden house with a big and beautiful field of lots of vegetation and lots of space. It was a very beautiful place. I remember living there very well, and I'm 17 and 2/3 now, and this was when I was 14 years old. And when I started realizing, God damn, you can really do a lot in this life, and I started getting interested into self improvement and everything. The post said, like, oh, read 15 pages a day, work out for 4 to 5 days a week, or something like that. Drink only water, um, and some other things. Don't watch porn. That's another one. Meditate or journal. I don't know, but it was a certain like list of things of self improvement. You've always seen those videos that are like, oh, disappear for 6 months and do these things, you know. It was that type of post, and I was thinking like, hey, maybe I should actually do it. And it says read 15 pages a day, so I should get a book for that. To read, I need a book, right? So I think next day, or close to next day, I went to a bookstore with my grandpa, with my maternal grandpa, to buy a book, the book in Spanish of John Maxwell, Your Roadmap to Success. And after that, I was obsessed with, oh, this is the way to succeed. I want to succeed. I want to be successful. But I never did the things necessary because I was always caught up in the pleasure of me imagining what success could look like. That was my biggest mistake, and a mistake that I still suffer from at 17. And the cure, lock in, do the actual work, right? And yeah, like you won't remember like the videos you see, unless it is like a movie you see. Like that is 2 hours of your life, and you're only watching a movie in that day, or a movie like per month or something, or even like 3 movies a year, something like that. It's something rare, right? And it's something that takes up a lot of your time and a lot of your thoughts. So obviously you're gonna remember a movie that you see. I remember that at my 17th birthday, I invited my friend to this house, my best friend, and we both saw with my dad Zoolander in the TV. It was the 26th of August of 2024, and I do remember that, of course. But the thing is, you're not gonna remember those videos. And sorry I made it too long, but it is important that you notice, that you know this, because that is something that literally everybody does. We don't rely on circuses and bread anymore. We rely on social media and short form content. That is the entertainment of today, which drifts our mind away from everything that's going on, and everything that we should be protesting about, everything that we should be revolting against. That is the bread and circus of today. The bread and circus, I mean in Roman Empire terms, right? Like give them bread and circuses and they'll never revolt. I don't know if it was the Roman Empire, but you know what I'm talking about. Um, and yeah, the other thing is, if you do the same thing every single day, the exact same thing, you will not remember it. Okay? You don't remember. You cannot even remember like how the the certain meal tasted like 2 weeks ago, or even what you ate. Like there's so many examples of this, and if you do something super particular in a day or whatever, if you do something very particular, you will remember it. Like I still to this day like remember like fuck I forgot what the name of that animal was that I killed like a little, I think slug it is called, that I stepped on it like on accident, and it was like 2 weeks ago. It was like at night, even in my place, like in the clubhouse area, and I killed one because it was probably like rainy season. They were like walking through, like those things with spiral shells. Um, And I don't know, I even took a picture of it. I was like, damn, I cannot believe I killed one. That was, I should have watched my step. And then I went to the clubhouse area and I saw one on the floor and I was like, damn, let me just take that off of the road, of the way, and for it not to get stepped on, because I don't want somebody else to make the same mistake as me. And I saved one then, and I took a picture of that one. I will never forget that. Maybe I will, but it's something that is particular, something that does not happen every single day. It's something different, something that differs from what your average day is. And yesterday, even, I even called my girlfriend a couple times. It was awesome. It was quite beautiful. She's beautiful. Like, I love her. And I was yesterday was a really big event that was called the Entrepreneurship Fair in my school. It's a small event, of course. It is a small school, and they all do like a certain entrepreneurship of themselves, of you know them. What happened was that I had to my business with my best friend, the one that came to this house like when I was in my 17th birthday. We had a business that we called Hot Sweets, and as a joke, we called it Hot Sweets and Hotter Guys, but we never ended up actually putting that in the name, of course. But yes, like the plan was bake a bunch of stuff like cookies, banana bread, brownie, and hot chocolate here in the house, and then take it there, like having baked it the previous day, so that was still kind of fresh, and like the stove here had broken down, and also the stove in my aunt's place had broken down, so we were fucked. And then yesterday, the day of the fair, we could only go there with hot chocolate in hand, right? Like a bowl of hot chocolate, and everything else was empty. We had like plates and everything, like presentation plates that we had nothing on. And we were like, yeah, we're just selling air right now. That's what my friend was joking about. I was like, dude, this is not the time to be joking. Come on, like, this is terrible. And then my stepmom was like, hey, we're buying stuff from the certain store so that you can sell it. We're buying muffins and we're buying donuts. And to summarize it, after like they brought it, it sold actually quite well. So, oh wait, my dad's calling me. Let me just try and stop this video and see if I can keep it going. All right, so the video cut, like, but it's okay. I just like went back to it and saw like what I was actually talking about. I was talking about like that the stove broke down, and yeah, like they sold out pretty well after they arrived. They arrived late, but still, and they had actually some teachers actually passed by our business before it was like at its best, and actually graded it. So I think we're pretty fucked because my grades were already like terrible. I've always been a terrible student, and that has some value to your grade. And after it was there, I also had my own product, which is this one. Look, I even made a video in my YouTube channel about like what my business is and everything. And I also brought like 3 beanbags from my dad's business. And one of them actually got sold for 3,000 of money in here. That is almost that's around $50. And yeah, like it was great. I had a great time. I even posted an Instagram story about it, and yeah, it was great. I was there with my friend. He often like left to see what was going around, and he came back, and I left, and to see everything that was going around. I probably bought some things, visited some places like a game room that some friends of ours like were working on, and yeah, it was great. And after that, there was like a friend of mine that had already graduated that I you could say I stole his girl, and that's something that I'm not proud of actually. That was a long time ago. It was like in January of 2024, and yeah, like we had he had forgiven me. I had apologized for everything that I'd done in around November 30. That happened. That I actually apologized. That was our our senior dance, basically, like a choreography that we do. We call it promotion here, but anyways, the thing is, at that event, he went up on stage after like everybody had finished dancing, and just like more people, to take pictures and everything. I said, bro, I'm sorry. And long story short, we were good. Basically, we had already like talked a couple times by then, like by yesterday. And basically, the friend that I was with, he sat down in the car along with my dad, and I sat down in the trunk basically, because it's like a, I don't know how to call it. It's like a van basically. That's where my dad puts his bean bags, to be able to store many of them, like up to maybe 6 or 8, and ship them and everything. Or maybe that's the wrong way to say it, but you know what I'm talking about. And yeah, I sat down in the back. The friend that I had apologized with, like he came, and then my brother, let's call him my brother, like the person that I was working with in Hot Sweets, he left because his mom was already on the way to pick him up, so he couldn't go with us. But improvised completely. We had not planned this at all. He said like, "Hey, I don't know who said that. Maybe my dad." But they were like, "Oh, you want to get to our place?" And he said like, "Okay." Like his mom does not care, and he's like free basically. He can do whatever he wants. He could be at like a girl's house, just like pounding it, going to Pound Town. You know what I'm talking about, like whatever. And yeah, um, completely improvised. And he came to my house. We ate. We talked a lot. There was a moment in which my stepmom and my dad, like they got out, and we kept on talking. He was like scrolling on Instagram. I was like, dude, come on, let's do something. Like let's go out. Let's do something. And I was using the same argument that I was using right now in this video. Like, hey, you will not remember the videos that you're watching in your phone, but if you go out, if you go to the clubhouse area with me, and we get to the pool, like I've done with other people, like because I have also invited other friends of mine to this house from school, and eventually he was like, okay, fine, like let's go. And we didn't went to the clubhouse. We went to a club, like basically like exclusive, um, that is called like the Spanish Center in English, but we call it Centro Español in Spanish, and it's quite popular here in Spanish. I'm sorry, in Santiago, in Dominican Republic. And we went there. We basically registered. I was able to invite him with uh, with my stepmom's number, basically of member, and I paid 500 Dominican credits. It's fine. We got in, and we played basketball. I met like two people there. I met somebody whose name was Angel. He said he was 12 years old. He was our height, and he was like in pretty good shape. And he was Dominican. No beard, afro hair, and light skin, and pretty athletic. He played baseball, and yeah, we played a lot with him. And I was also able to reunite, and this was at night, by the way, with a friend of mine, a very old friend of mine that I had already known like a decade ago in the school that I previously studied in, and basically we were playing, and I was like, damn, this guy is so familiar. Like, I have an urge to basically ask him, like, where do you study, dude? Because he was so familiar, everything about him, like his presence, his face, his voice, even though it had changed because obviously that was after puberty now, and even his scent, and I was like, dude, what's your name? He was like, Edgar, and I was like, dude, Edgar, it's me, Diego. And they were like, "Oh my God, did I couldn't recognize you with that mane that you had there? That all his hair." And yeah, it was great. I'm not gonna forget that ever, because especially because I took a bunch of pictures of everything that happened, and it was even a friend of my grandpa's, that he was like an engineer or something, that he works with them on the new local that he's working on, that he gave me and my friend a ride before we got to the basketball court area. And yeah, like in summary, I am going to remember that day because it was great. Like, it was the fair, and then completely improvised. I invited my friend to my house. We went to the clubhouse. I mean, not to the club. Sorry. We had also gone to the clubhouse to play a little bit of basketball, we even met some new people, some Haitians, I think it was, like some black men and some other guy, and we played some basketball there. And I even reunited with a friend of mine that I made right here in the in this residential. I also in when I went to the club, I actually got to meet with a cousin of mine. He's 13, and yeah, I was like, it was great. Like I remember these things because not just because they were yesterday, but because they mattered. They were not like something that happened every single day, right? And I feel like people also a reason, maybe that's not like one of the reasons, but also a reason why people see time as like, oh my god, it happened so quickly. It's because they look they just look back at it and they assume that nothing happened in that time because at the time in the moment, if you're without your phone, without like a camera roll or something, you're gonna think like, oh my god, damn, nothing happened, god damn, that was so quickly. And of course, if nothing too prominent happened, so prominent that you can like recall it, then of course you're gonna be like, oh my god, that was super quickly. But no, you spent years doing that shit. You know how long a year is? Like a lot of people don't realize that because they don't look around. They don't just like, let's say you're going through life and you stop. You just look around like, damn, this is how my life is right now. Okay. And I don't know. It's either because you never stop to look around. Remember that life goes fast. So if you don't stop and look around once in a while, you might miss it. And that's true. So that's something you can do every single day. You can just like stay on your bed without your phone. And this happens to me every time that I sleep in my grandparents' house because they don't allow me like in school time. This is not gonna happen anymore, unless I go to college in this country, which I don't want to, because I will feel pathetic. That was not my goal, and I failed basically. But the thing is that they don't allow me to have like technology past 10 p.m. and I have to stay there in my room, even if I don't want to sleep. I have to stay there without technology, without my phone, without my computer, and basically, my only choice is to either like start reading or doing whatever, or just lay in bed because you're kind of tired and start thinking about life. And that is every time I do that, I just look around at my life and I have many thoughts that would never even have normally, like with all this noise that is always happening around, with all these videos that we see every single day, and yeah, like I'm like thinking about like what I should say because there's only 3 minutes left in my phone, like of less of storage for me to record video. Um, like yeah, there's something you can do every single day. Stop and look around every once in a while, and also doing something different. It's also something you can do every single day. Like nothing's stopping you from you taking a different route to wherever you go. Always, like nothing is stopping you from doing something different. There's so many elements to your life that you could like do a small tweak to that could get you to have a completely different day or a completely different experience or a completely different friendship. You don't know. You could always just like meet somebody. You can meet somebody new every single day or several people. But most people don't do that because they're afraid of change, or maybe because of other reasons. But the thing is, most people don't do that, and that is why most people see life. When they look back, they see life as something that happens so quickly. And of course, if you do the same thing every day, you won't remember those things because it will. If you brush your teeth the same way every single day, it is basically as if it goes back to the same memory. If you let's say you wash your face in the morning every single day. Like, if you've never done that, I don't know. Let's say that it's something specific, like you try out something else, like I don't know, steam therapy with a fucking pan or something. You will remember that. You're going to remember that, and like the bigger, the more you for more time you will remember it. Like, and the smaller, like for the less amount of time that you remember. Like it's about prominence. But yeah, like if you do something the same every single day, it will go back to the same memory, the memory of doing that. You don't have um fucking like 3,000 memories of your first kiss. You only have one. You only have one memory of your first kiss. Of course, because it only happened once and it is something that happened only once in your life. Your first time. Your first time can only happen once. That's obvious. But if you have like tons of something that happens, something specific that happened tons of times the same way, it will be as just that one memory. And after you go through life and you only have that one memory, or you only have done things one way, you will only have one memory, or very few. So of course life is going to feel short. And let me just leave it there. Like I could make a much better video about this, but I have no time. So there's literally like 40 seconds left. So you know what to do. Like fucking do something with your life. You only have one life, dude. Come on. Like do something, dude. Like there's no rules. Just know that. Do whatever the fuck you want. Team Philosopher out.